we're going to run through 4 presentations from Shafraz, Olivier, Philippe, and then Dean. We'll break for coffee. Then we'll move into the breakout streams for the second half of the morning, where we'll have a stream on contextual communications, the second part of the telecom app development stream, and then the dangerous demo. So we were doing a dry run last night until late. It's going to be the most dangerous and definitely the largest demo we've had within TAD Summit. We'll break for lunch, so it'll be a late lunch at 1:20. Then at 2:20, we're back again, and then we're going to go through a keynote from Vish on rethinking telecoms. That's going to be remote. We then have Werner and then the live person team giving the third of their presentations. And then we're going to do the closing keynotes, where we'll have Alan Mazarek and Thomas from Nexmo really explaining where they're going together. I think that's going to be a really interesting session. So that's going to be Q&A. So we're going to have a little bit of a presentation to introduce what they're going to do from Alan, the CEO of Vonage, and then we'll do some prepared Q&A, and then we'll open it up to the audience. So if you've got questions, get them prepared, because we've got a good chunk of time to really understand what Nexmo and Vonage are going to do together in the enterprise segment. And then I'm just going to wrap up with a quick overview of what we got coming up in 2017. So without further ado, Shafraz, over to you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, we actually learned a lot from all the developers and the partners and the service providers, etc., who are here, giving us good insight as into what they are into. And it's great to see a lot of people also moving into the API ecosystems, and they have started building all those cool things that we have also have tried out. Today, my objective is to tell you, yesterday I gave you some sort of a tease, or I gave you an insight, what I'm going to reveal today. It's about the secret sauce, not anymore. Once I said to you, it's not going to be a secret sauce at all. If you think this can be implemented in your country, in your operator, or in one of your engagements that you do, definitely please do take. We are happy to share this with you, because we are here spending 9,447 kilometers all the way from Sri Lanka. This is to share with you the service innovation case study. According to Alan, we are the best service innovation case study that we have from the world. So that's definitely a privilege. So let me start off with the presentation. Is that? Yeah, there you go. Nice. So the service innovation case study, which is IdeaMart. Yesterday, I gave you an introduction. What is IdeaMart is all about, and the model that we are adhering into. Yeah. So we do about 40 million API calls a month now. Over 5,000 service providers only in Sri Lanka. It could be a developer or non-developer or an entrepreneur. 9,000 plus applications. Best technology enabler in 2015 at Global Mobile Awards. The multi-operator capabilities now is enabled. And yes, a significant revenue shared with the community over the past few years. This is the world map. And most of, actually some of the people doesn't know where Sri Lanka is. This is where Sri Lanka is. This is a very small dot that you see. And in Sri Lanka, there's an operator called Dialog Asiata. So Dialog is the largest telecommunication provider in Sri Lanka, which is a part of the Asiata group in Asia. Asiata group has 7 more opcos across Asia and serving nearly over 250 million customers. So it all started back in 2012 with a small team of 3 people. Before starting off in 2012, as in every telco, we also had some typical complaints coming in. So 7 typical complaints, these are few. So too many processes. We know for a fact that if you're a telco and if you want to get something done, it'll take a lot of time. Yeah. Yesterday I mentioned you about 6 months period just to launch a SMS service. Okay. So this is one complaint. So not more than 10 products a year. We were able to launch only about 10 to 15 sort of products a year. But now it's about thousands of products a year. Process specialists. This is again a problem most of the people, not only in telcos, other companies are also facing, is that we have process specialists or product specialists. Those guys, if such a head or a person who's there, and if that person is not available, that can hamper the whole process. Or if that person is taking a lot of time to approve a particular agreement or a particular process, that is going to hamper all of your projects. So how can we want to think out of the box, as in how can we make it DIY, do it yourself, bring down to the basic level where people can do it by themselves. Lack of agility. Yesterday I explained to you, lack of agility is a big problem. And innovation, is it just R&D? Innovation, is it just R&D is all about? I don't think so. Innovation needs to be, you build something, you try it out, and you try that out in the market. So you validate the product. You can have MVP, you can have all those beta testers coming in. So, but if we can take that into market, that is a true innovation. Can we make it internal people to innovate? Can we get external people to innovate? That's again a complaint. And we have resources. What next? USSD gateways to all those telco resources we have brought in. And another complaint is that all the OTT players coming in and MNOs are losing their business. Though that's again a complaint. How can we make use of these resources? How can we either collaborate or to fight back with an MNO, with an OTT player? Okay, so how can we do that? So these things are 7 key typical telco complaints that we see and that we saw. And I'm happy to say that at least 90% of these complaints have been reduced at Dialog Asiata after introducing the platform that I'm going to talk to you about and the process that I'm going to, or the model that I'm going to talk to you about. So now you must be interested, okay, now Shafraz is talking about all those innovation happening in Sri Lanka. Is there anyone else who can speak and say what they have done with IdeaMart? So there's a small video clip that I want to share with you. So let's have a look. Give me a minute. There you go. Play it back. Okay. Okay, presentation. All good? Yeah, sure.
IdeaMart. I am Ruandi Sanayaka. I am an entrepreneur.
I use IdeaMart to study coding and telco infrastructures.
We use IdeaMart platform to raise funds and help more children in Sri Lanka.
I track my sales force using IdeaMart.
I use IdeaMart for communicate to my students.
So that's a small video clip which I showed you with testimonials of people. It could be a teacher, it could be a entrepreneur who's trying to track their sales force. It could be someone running a charity organization trying to raise funds through IdeaMart. So those are the people who have got benefited. I'll tell you in a later slide who have been a part of IdeaMart and also what sort of application that we have, some interesting examples as well. Yeah, let's get down to the model that I spoke to you about. So this is a very simple model, and see what you can get out of this. This worked in Sri Lanka very massively. It worked really well. So this is the model. You need to have a platform. You need to educate the people. You need to have governance, monetization, engagements, partnerships, and support. So these are the 7 key things that I want to share with you. And having these 7 key things being implemented is not only going to help you out, because you need to have 2 more things: the leadership and the right team in place to help you out with the whole process. So this is our PegMaps model by IdeaMart. If you want to have a deep down, as in, and to understand how it works also, we can help you out, not a problem. So let's start off with the platform. And before that, if there's someone who wants to say, hey, look, this has worked in Sri Lanka with the PegMaps model, if you want to convince a senior manager or management that you want to convince, this is a really good graph that you can show, because they'll be interested in money. Yeah, other than the application and all those success stories that you have, you can also show this graph, because this is the revenue graph over the years, the growth of IdeaMart. So you can make use of this and try to convince, as we are doing as well. So yeah, so first one, the platform. Platform, definitely Seni Mobile has been great instrumental, and they have provided us the platform to run the operation. So IdeaMart is lying on top of the core resources of Dialog, and on top of that we have 2 types of offerings for the non-developers and the developers. Most of the people, what we do is we focus on developers who can build all this cool stuff. But what we have identified over the years is that there are people who don't have coding knowledge at all. Sometimes they don't know how to drag and drop, at least. Sometimes they find it very easy to fill up a form. Just to fill up a form. Okay. So template base is the offering that we provide for non-developers, long tail non-developers, and the RESTful APIs for the developers. So on top of the template based services, we have the Idea apps and the Apptizer. Apptizer, now we call that as the Idea Droid offering. So Apptizer is a cool thing which came, I think, in the previous years. You might have came across this Apptizer, where you can just fill up a form and get an APK generated. So there are types of templates as well for shopping. It could be for a what we call food shop, etc. So the Idea apps, where you can fill up a form and just in 5 minutes time, you can create a SMS-based service, which took 6 months. Now it's just a matter of filling up a form. Okay. So these are the other APIs that we have exposed. We don't play around with a lot of APIs. We only play around with the APIs that we have provided over here. And if we see that, okay, there's a need of APIs, then we'll expose these APIs, because this is very important, not to stack up the APIs as much as possible, but to try to play and get the maximum out of which is available. Okay, so the part that you see as the RESTful APIs, we call that as the Idea Pro offering. And Android, is again a key area where we have lots of game developers, people who develop Android applications, etc. But unfortunately, in Sri Lanka, we don't have the in-app purchasing capability. So because of that, we identified that, okay, there's a need as such. So what we did was we enabled people to charge from their mobile bill, simply integrating the add to bill or the direct operating billing capability. Okay. All being said and done, if you don't show it out to the world, if you don't show it out to the market, it's going to be pointless, worthless. So we have the allapps.lk, that's the app store of IdeaMart. Whatever the application being created, you can push it there and say, hey, look, these are the applications available. You can go and download or you can subscribe to it. So this is the platform that we have for long tail. So there's another engagement for enterprises as well that is mainly handled by the Axiata Digital Services that I'm not going to touch upon here. This is, you might have heard yesterday, I met a few people who have already spoken to Axiata Digital Services as well, so you know how it works on a hub and a gateway model. The education, very important. You can have all those resources, as in the documentation, the video tutorials to getting people to excited about all those UX functionalities and understanding the customer experience, etc. But what worked for us was the human touch that we gave. We went and did and spoke with developers, non-developers, the startups, the IT professionals. We went and spoke with them one-to-one, face-to-face, had the conversation, said, hey, look, this is what you can do. Through the, we call it as the city disruption, IdeaMart city disruption. We reach out to each and every city and speak to non-developers. Because we have seen that non-developers can have lots of great ideas and they don't know how to make use of a platform to get it done. So what we need to say, hey, look, this is the channel that you can take. There's a community of developers. We can match them up with you so you can realize your the application idea. So that's what we do through the IdeaMart city disruption. And the since the inception, we had the outreach program, a massive one. So we have outreach over 200 places so far in Sri Lanka, talking to a lot of people. And these are few of the pictures from these engagements. It could be a person who is in their 50s. It could be a child who's in their 14s, 13s, 15s. We really don't know where the talent is. We really don't know where the execution or the ideas are. We really don't know that. We need to outreach as much as possible so we can get an idea. So the education is very important. Make sure you have a human touch. We all are humans. We work with machines, but still we need to have that human touch. The governance, key area. We have the inbuilt governance. If someone the community context, there are people who would want to play around with the systems and say all those, sending all those bad little words inside the platform. We don't allow those. And there are marketing T&C in place to govern these people. Because Dialog is letting loose all those developers to the core network capabilities. SMS USD. So we need to govern. So we need to govern the application that they are creating. We need to govern the marketing materials, what they are going to say to the outside the world. Because at the end of the day, even though IdeaMart sits in between the end users and the Dialog or Hutch, the blame comes to who? The blame comes to Dialog or Hutch. They'll say Dialog is charging us this much. They are not providing a service. Even though there's a layer in between called IdeaMart, they don't see that. What they see is only the operator, where we get lots of calls to our customer service at Dialog, talking about charging being happened, services not being provided, so etc. So we need to govern those ATL campaigns, and because of the people whom we are outreaching into, will have their different backgrounds. They'll have different levels of education. They are coming from different environments, but they have great ideas. So what we do is, if we get to know that someone is going out of the border that we have set up for them, we have a zero tolerance process in place. We either suspend and take it into fraudulent management team, or else we completely terminate them if that is completely violating the process that we have in place. So the quality control, for the quality control, we pick up phones and call end users. We pick up phones and call the SPs to provide great services, and we get people to, if a person, we see that if that person has a very good application, and we see there's a potential much more than that we think, we give them support as well, and we give them mentoring. Community self-governs themselves because they have identified, because now there are people who live through the income that they get from IdeaMart alone. And there are people who have their incomes while they are doing another job. So they know the importance of this whole platform, the ecosystem that we have built. So what they do is they self-govern the whole community rather than before we intervene. Developer SP agreements. There are service providers without development knowledge. What we do is we match them up with another developer so they can have the conversation way forward. And the marketing agency governance, that's a new addition to the community, where we have about 9,000 plus applications. But the thing is, how can they market such a large number of applications? Because a dialogue doesn't give a support to market their application. How can they do that? So from the community itself, people have started building their companies to market the applications. Or there are third parties who have come on board to the ecosystem to market their applications. And finally, the reconciliation of payments. Initially, when started off with IdeaMart, when the team earlier who went and spoke with the finance management team and said, hey, look, we need to reconcile the service providers within 15 days time. And they laughed at the team and said, are you joking? How can we do that in 15 days time? But now that has brought down, and we have a well-furnished process in place to make sure we pay the service providers within 15 days of time. So that's the governance. Monetization, by default, all the APIs are monetized, and facilitate different revenue models where the service provider or the developer can pick and choose what they want. They can, is it daily, monthly, or per request that they can define how they want it. And the engagements, last month alone, we had 4 hackathons. 22 hackathons, school coding competitions. Some people tend to ask us, why do you go to a school? School children doesn't know anything about it. They just play around with all this Python or like a very basic level language. We really don't know that. We really don't know. Why? These days, the children are familiar with all those technological pieces. That has become a part of their life now. So they might want to build something cool, something new. We really don't know how they want to do it. So what we do is we go and talk to them. And from there, we have found out some real jewels. I'll show you in a later slide the jewels that we found in some of the competitions. Agents of Influence program, we have about 20 people. 20 people across Sri Lanka becoming the face of IdeaMart and spreading across and helping us out to outreach the word. And idea brainstorming, we do one-to-one mentoring. As I said to you, human touch is very important. Workspace for startups, outsource technological projects to the developer community. It's because we see that if we can nurture the community again and again, that means that we are building or strengthening the community that we have. So these are few pictures from the community engagements, and this is a structure that we adhere to if we are planning on a hackathon. So hackathon matrix version 1.0, and the partnerships, obviously, the Hutch partnerships is a very important one which came across, where we have plugged in another service provider to expand the services to another telco infrastructure, GSM Accelerator program. They're helping us out with the innovation fund to get people to get fundings from the innovation fund. And TAD Hack, obviously, been in inspiration and a great support for us Even though we are in Sri Lanka, we see that our team videos are being played in different, very different countries as well. So that's an exposure that we give. Might get something, I might not get, but the exposure is what we really think of. UNDP, we organized the first ever, Sri Lanka's first ever social innovation hackathon, and Venture Engine coming on board, where Dinesh also is a part of it. And ITR Venture Engine is to fund. There are a bunch of VCs. They fund for projects, and IdeaMart is one of their main key areas that they look into to fund in terms of expansion. Angel Hack, that's again in Silicon Valley, where we have got them on board to get our Sri Lankan talent to Silicon Valley. So that's something that we also want looking into. So the enterprise engagements or the partnerships is handled through the MIFE platform and the Asiata Digital Services. So the final thing, out of the PEGMAPS model, this is the technical support. Technical support, we have two different layers. First layer is the developer support, which we handle from the team that we have at IdeaMart, and second level support handled by the Zenit team. And if Manuja and the team is looking at this video, kudos Manuja, thanks a lot for the support. And the non-technical support is handled by the teams that we have from level 1 to level 2. And we call them up, and there are different channels to provide non-technical support and market. And very important one, there are developers who call even at 2 a.m. in the morning. There are people who really call even though you don't understand at what time they'll call. But there are developer support people who can support them. And marketing support, if we see that there's a potential application that we can port into and take it into a greater level, we give them marketing support as well. So those are the elements of the PEGMAPS model. And these are channels that we focus on helping out to people. And yes, these are few people who are a part of the community. And the problem most of people face is that the female participation. Here in IdeaMart, I can say it's about 80-20 ratio where female entrepreneurs and IdeaMart service provider are available. And the three gentlemen that you see over here are between age 17 to 19, and they have their own startups already been started. Okay. And these are a few applications. It could be a small application where you send out an SMS and donate to a charity. It could be a small application where you chat with a person. It could be you can be using the SMS API to talk to municipal council from your smart bin. Okay, these are few quick examples of IdeaMart that we have. It's not limited to only SMS. And yesterday when Felipe was talking about his project, it reminded me of the Govimituru project that we have at Dialogue, which is similar, that we also run for the farmers. And yeah, the roadmap, you might be interested in looking at the roadmap as well. So exposing 3 minimum APIs by Q1, onboarding local MNOs, that's our thing to do, and international MNOs as well by Q3. And I say you do to revolutionize the lifestyles. That's sort of what we call a lifestyle service providing platform where you can integrate anything and everything. And the APIs we use through the IdeaMart platform. So this is the roadmap, and definitely I need to mention there's a hackathon happening at the end of this week. That's called Code Ultimatum Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones, cut it. This Game of Codes, and the selection has been happened. Now we are waiting for the hackathon this weekend. As soon as I fly, I'll be straight going to the hackathon. So there are people who have came before me talking to you about IdeaMart, and there's one thing that we always want to show. That's something that I always want to show in one of the international forums, is that to show the team who are running this. So this was our old team, and we had interns. We considered them, all of them, as one team, like one family, one IdeaMart team. And we have now we have expanded, and we don't forget to have fun while we are doing all those crazy things, we are staying up late in the night, and still we do all those cool things. Kudos to everyone who's looking at the, watching at the live stream at the moment, and all the SPs. And this is our team. And finally, let me thank all the people, all the service providers, all the team members who've been instrumental to bring IdeaMart to such a great extent. Without you, and as Dinesh mentions, APIs alone can't make money, but the services does. So with that note, I would like to conclude, and thanks a lot for your attention. And if you have any questions, you can ask now.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Shafraz. So if you grab the microphone, take your PC over there, I'll get set up for Olivier to do his presentation. Are you going to do it from your laptop or from mine? Will you do it from your laptop or mine? Mine. Okay, no problem. So any questions for Shafraz? Dean.
Yeah, I'll go. Hi, Dean Bubley. Interesting, the last slide, you want to roll it out to other MNOs. Yeah. How do you see this as against other initiatives to sort of have developer API platforms across multiple MNOs? I was speaking to TM Forum the other day, for example.
Okay.
Where do you fit with and around that?
As I understood, what you want to know is how we can manage it, the MNOs.
Yeah, and sort of where that might go, but also it looks like that we may end up with sort of multiple, if you like, alliances or platforms of MNOs with different approaches. Are you viewing it as a competitive market, or sort of looking to collaborate with other federations on this?
Yeah. So our model is collaboration. It's about what our vision is to create a large ecosystem. Now we have all those communities across the world, right? So if we can build an ecosystem or a developer ecosystem, like one ecosystem. So if they build one thing and deploy it anywhere. So that's the idea that we have. So we are looking forward to collaborate. Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, again, round of applause for excellent presentation. Thank you so much.